Nice to see a fair number of people today. So good evening and greetings of the day. So to all who have joined our regular webinar and conversations with topics of interest for our members. A lot of you all who are regular members of GetSetUp know the format of how we go about it. But a quick one, just a reintroduction to people who have joined for the first time. GetSetUp is a community which is creating engagement and learning from peer to peer. And more importantly, we take up topics of interest for our members and join us, download our app and join the large community of GetSetUp members. Having said that, today's format and today's topic is actually a very interesting one that we're going to be talking about, emergency funds, your key to financial security in crisis. And our speaker for the day and our guest is Sunita Padwal, a regular member of GetSetUp and an inspirational lady. And I'll just give you a quick background about her journey as well. So she is somebody who took up into the world of investments against the tide. Recently, there was a story also about her in Business Standard, which spoke about the few women fund managers that are there in the country. There are a total of 472 fund managers in the country, and only 42 of them are women. And Sunita stands out over there as somebody who took it as against the tide when she took it a new learning for herself, when she decided for the family that I want to learn something new and start investing away from the regular investments that the family was doing, much to the reluctance and disagreement from the rest of the members. But her journey of now 15 years plus has allowed her to have a large client base where she's advising. She set up Sunit Investments as a business, and not only manages her own family and her own corpus for protecting wealth and managing the wealth, but 500 plus clients is what she's doing. Besides that, she's somebody who spends her time as a counselor at Tata Hospital Parel in the Department of Palliative Medicine, providing specialized counseling to terminally ill cancer patients and their families. And this she's been doing for more than 20 years. She's also actively involved in philanthropic activities through Rotary Club of Mumbai Mahim. She organizes health camps, leads medical projects, and raises awareness. So lots to learn from Sunita ji. And thank you, Sunita ji, to come onto the platform and being a partner in creating more awareness, more learning for our members. A quick background about our sponsors. So these series of learnings are sponsored by Franklin Templeton, which is one of the largest asset managers globally, with over 76 years of experience and currently managing assets to the tune of 1.64 trillion as of March 31st. They've been in India for about 28 plus years and currently manage about 88,000 crores of funds and AUM in India. Franklin Templeton offers diversified bouquet of products spanning equity, debt, and international funds, which can not only help meet various financial goals, but also takes care of building your corpus. They have a rich history of being pioneers in many products, especially the concept SIPs, which was brought into the Indian mutual fund industry. So with that, I'll just also highlight what we are doing at GetSetUp and take this forward in a format where we are trying to talk about how to build the financial security on emergency funds. So what is Sunita ji, in your opinion, that one needs to kind of look forward to when one is talking about financial security or an emergency fund that you like to define to create a corpus or to have that emergency fund? Especially most of our members, as you know, GetSetUp is catering to the people above the age of 55, building this community of learners and active agers, how they should think about it as they move into this phase of their lives. And what do you mean by emergency fund or emergency corpus that you would that one should create? Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Ashwinji, first of all, for that warm welcome and warm introduction. I'm really a GetSetUp member. We had a get together with 15-20 members in the other TT there. So it was a great experience, but because of my schedule, my busy schedule, I just cannot come regularly. But still, I always people to GetSetUp various groups. thank you so much for inviting me for this today's program and today's subject, emergency fund, which is very, very, very important. And why we need emergency fund? That is your question. So, see, life is very uncertain. So when we are going through the uncertainty, so that is always ups and downs are there. Ups are there, we are very happy. Okay, so we are satisfied, contented when the life is going up. But when it takes turn and goes down, it it is not that good. So it is associated with some loss or trauma also, and then it gives us the financial distress. And just to avoid that financial distress, we need to have emergency fund for sure, and that can be for any age. Now you said our group is 55 years plus. Of course, for them to definitely we need a emergency fund. For youngsters also we need emergency fund. So that is how. So to uh, protect our ups, not ups but downs, we need to have emergency fund. So to
So
sail
when you
over the
say,
downs, we need the emergency fund.
yeah, no, I think you've kind of, and in your story that I was reading about, which was covered in the newspaper at Business Standard for the Mother's Day that they did. You're one of few people who have actually taken that shift away from a regular work that you were in the family was involved in the business, and you took a completely different view at that point in time. What was your motivation at that stage, and what was the emergency thought process that you were making, that how would you build this corpus? Was it was it the regular investment options available, or are the regular investment options that we all kind of get used to? We've always heard about gold being a good hedge. We always heard about land and property being another option, and fixed deposit being another option. How do you combine all of this, and how does one take that decision, that what is the goal setting or that corpus that one needs to prepare? Is there a method behind that to kind of analyze it and move towards?
See, well, what you have read is the 20 years back story when I had started looking out for something else. We had a conversation with my friend, and he said, Sunita, why don't you invest in mutual funds? I was not aware what was mutual funds. But before that, as you rightly said, we were investing in RDs, that is, the recurring deposits, fixed deposits, and that were giving a good return. It's not that when that time it was not giving good return, not like 5% or 6% like now. That time they were giving good returns. But what I found when I did a mutual fund SIP, I found that it is giving double the return what I was getting in FD or RD. And I thought, why we shouldn't do that? Because it is also regularized, SEBI regulations was there. So why I am not taking the advantage of that? So that is why I came to my family and said, let's invest in mutual fund. But then there was not a very good acceptance to my proposal. But still, I wanted to do it because I was a believer. This is doing well, and why I should not explore that. And that is how I took that mutual fund route. And when I got good results, good returns, I wanted to continue it. But unfortunately, I did not get anybody who can again guide me for the mutual fund and give me more knowledge on the mutual fund. And that's how I came forward and I learned myself that mutual fund. That also, I just got one small ad in the newspaper, your distributor, mutual fund distributor, and I just grabbed it. I thought I must do it because when I got the good returns, and I'm asking my friends and my dear and near ones, whether you invest in mutual funds. So nobody were saying yes. They were not knowing about that. So I thought I must take that opportunity. And that small ad helped me. And then my journey started. But yes, I never thought that I'll come so far and so well in this mutual fund distribution journey. So that is a thanks to that person who came in my life and gave that small ad. and he vanished afterwards. I never met him again. But that was God's grace, maybe, whatever. And then I came into this and I stuck here because I just love educating people and making them rich.
It's so much it's inspiring and resonates with the values that GetSetUp has. So just for everybody's benefit, and some people who joined late, I can see some numbers have gone up. Is GetSetUp believes in empowering and lifelong learning. And Sunita ji, you embody that. You actually took on a new learning, a new challenge, something that was completely not even available. The person who just gave it to you also vanished. So you didn't even have a guide to teach you. But the main thing is actually you remained curious, and you took it on as, I need to learn this. And that is something that I think at this stage of life, if you keep on that lifelong learning mode, there's lots that we can pursue, new activities, new avenues. And you've been a regular member at GetSetUp, and some of the other activities that you do inspire a lot of us. So thank you for sharing this part of the story. But I think what we'd like to learn is that and especially you said that there is, you took that up to learn, it has given you a good return, but it may not always be the case. We know even when we have taken there, if in the 90s, if you remember, there were plantation schemes. If you remember, the even bank FDs recently in the last 5 years, we saw banks failing,
Yes.
and it's only protected to that extent. Gold has its own nuances. To how does one kind of use various strategies or thought processes that you do, or you advise your clients? You have about almost close to 500 clients. Is that is returns the only thing? Is safety the only thing? Is emergency of an uncalled for situation at this stage of life, is that what? Because again, it can't be predicted, as you said. So what do you pick up when you say as investment strategy, or corpus building strategy, as we say, that emergency fund planning?
Yeah. See, what you are saying is correct. This is not guaranteed. Nothing is guaranteed. Now, as you rightly said, the banks are filling up. Okay. So rates are coming down. Even the PPF, which was giving 15% return, that has also come down to 7% now. So we can't rely on anything. And the mutual fund, if you see, you will see the on asterisk mark subject to market risk. And that always everybody fears that they only read that line and say ki bas bye bye karke. But I say, have you ever seen on a FD receipt there is a subject to interest rate? They have not mentioned that. So still you invest, and supposing if like a PPF, 15 years we are investing and the interest rate are coming down. Are you going and fighting with the government? No. Are you fighting with the banks? No. So there is uncertainty. So you have to accept this uncertainty of life, interest rate, everything. Okay. So now how we cater to my investors? So first and most, people when they come, we say the whatever you are doing the investment, it should be matched with your financial goal, and then you have to have your when you are marking your financial goal, risk appetite is done. How much risk you can take, and according the investments patterns are given to them, strategies are built. Of course, before starting everything, is emergency corpus for everybody is very, very important, because for youngsters, they might join the some company now. After a year, they might go away from that. Okay, from they want to find out some other company, and that time they have to have some emergency corpus at least for 3 to 6 months. So we always tell them to build a corpus of 3 to 6 months, and then you jump whatever you want to do. Then your financial goals, your marriage, your children, your higher education, your retirement. Now our group is 55 plus. So I'm sure they must have done some kind of investments, and then some kind of uh, corpus they must have built. But for them, they have to have the emergency fund. So emergency fund, where they can park the emergency fund. So that was your question, how to build a emergency emergency funds. Yes.
Yes.
So maybe the savings account, as we all know, is savings account. But for there also, we need to see what kind of interest you are getting, and whether it is okay for you, whether you have timeline for your emergency corpus, whether you have to something to fall back, that also you have to say. So saving banks, yes, with the very, very less interest, maybe 2% or 3%, which is not also beating your inflation. Okay. The another one you can say is a FD. That is a certificate of deposit. We generally call this FD, fixed deposit. So fixed deposit will give you some return, which is say 5%, 6%. So as comparison to inflation, if you see, it is vis-a-vis same. Okay, so again, you are not getting uh, anybody is asking me anything? No, no,
No,
no.
no, nothing. And I'll address some of those. Yeah, don't worry. Go ahead.
Okay. So the FDs are there, which is as good as the inflation rate only. So again, we are not creating anything. Again, it is a taxable. So that is, but still, you can consider one as a FD there. So a money market is there. So like that liquid funds are there, which will give you more than your interest rate in the savings bank or more than your FD. Okay. So that you can see there the flexibility is there. If you want a emergency fund there, you can withdraw it immediately without any penalty. So likewise in savings bank, there is no penalty, but for the withdrawing money from the
FD.
FDs, there is a penalty. Okay, so they will give you the penalty and they'll give you the money. So again, you are getting a loss from there. Okay, so there are some companies which give you higher interest rate, but there they have the terms and conditions. Put 1 lakh rupee as a deposit there or something like that, and they will give you the higher interest in that case. But again, you'll have to compensate with the some from 10,000 to 1 lakh or 25,000. You have to put there like a FD or the fixed balance there you have to put. Okay, so that kind of thing. The treasury bills are there, which is but it is locked. Again, there is a maturity crisis is there. So if you need a money, say after a year or before a year, then maybe the smaller treasury bills you can go for that. So that's how you can do. Then of course, cash on hand you can keep. So cash on hand, of course, it is risky also. You need to keep it properly. Otherwise, the theft chances are there. So, and when the cash is there in the hand, you tend to spend it as and when you want it. You don't think that I kept it for emergency. So that shouldn't happen. But then debit card, you should have debit cards. If you have, you should have a proper PIN numbers or the password that you should keep. Generally, senior citizens don't like to use the debit cards or credit cards, but they should learn to use that because that is the safest way. And then to keep money in hands, that is the safest way to do that. So that way they can do. There are another options where if you invest in mutual funds, you get loans against mutual fund, which is very pretty faster. Within 2 hours times, up to 3 lakhs, you can get loans also. And that is a reducing rate. So interest is not like a personal loan, and quickly you get money. Your funds are safe there. Their funds are growing as per the market, growing or going down, whatever. But if it's 3 years, 5 years, it has to go up. So that is what is happening. So that is again, these are the emergency corpus, the way you can build this emergency corpus.
Nice. I think what I'll probably just once again, since some more participants have come in, for anybody who has questions, they can put it in the chat. We'll take it up as we go along. But we will, of course, in some time, open the floor for questions directly as well. Sunita ma'am is very, very experienced in managing as well as advising a lot many clients. Any questions that don't get answered today, you can always reach out and she'll be more than happy to send written response to some of them. More importantly, for these kind of contents are available on GetSetUp app, so please download it and enjoy not just today's session, but any in the past also you are available. And as members keep joining, you you are invited to future sessions as well. Ma'am, emergency fund now, why should one even keep this? You mentioned debit card, you mentioned these are immediately withdrawable amount. Is there a thought process that you have that you tell clients what is the necessity to keep this? What are you trying to keep this fund for? Is it you're expecting anything, or what's the thought process in your mind when you advise that you should have these always available at a short notice?
Okay, so like so if I had to address to this group who's 55 plus, so you see at this age our immune system is also going down. So maybe at any time we can get sick and we need to go to hospital. So we need to have emergency fund. See, this person looking good today, and tomorrow if we ask, he says that I was hospitalized. Why? There may be viral infection, there may be something, there may be the blood pressure shoot up, diabetes gone up, or whatever. And that time when you are rushing to the hospital, you should have a emergency purpose. So many insurance companies give the cashless facility, but sometimes some hospitals may not accept. At that point of time, you should have cash on hand, or maybe debit card or credit card. But as I said, many senior citizens avoid to use the cards. They don't believe कि they say कि मुझे cards पिन डालना पता नहीं, किसी के हाथ में लग जाएगा तो क्या होगा. So they don't use it. But I request each and everybody who's on this platform today, they should have their debit cards, credit cards, and even if the net banking access is there, of course it is there, and they should use it very delicately. They should use it very securely, and it will solve their problems. So the cash is available. Also, as I said, if you are building your mutual fund corpus, you will get immediately the cash in your bank. And when the cash comes to your bank, how are you going to withdraw? You don't have to go to the bank if you have debit card. So you can just give that card to the hospital and get access, get the treatment done. And also, I'll request others uh, uh, insurance is must. For the senior citizens. They should have that. So supposing if you're getting the cashless, so you are getting a free medical. So this having a proper insurance is also like a emergency fund. You can treat it as an emergency fund, because once you go to the hospital and you get a treatment immediately, so it has become an emergency fund which is activated. Okay, so you should have a proper insurance also. And then maybe there are many cases, like suppose nowadays children are getting married late. Okay, if I'm 55 and my son is 30, and now he wants to do some higher education or some higher business setup or something, and if I have to, as a parent, give him some kind of cash or some money or help him or support him, so I need to see that when my children are around and they're not set up, I will like to give them something. So that cash also I should have properly set up, so in that case, I can just give him that cash. So maybe in a family also somebody's in a distress, and that time I want to help that person. So I should keep that cash. So you may say, ki, if I don't have, or I have for myself, why should I give it to others? But that case can be yourself also. Maybe you are in distress and somebody is helping you with the cash, that emergency cash. So even if we keep the cash, that is much better. Then we are socially activated people. So somebody's wedding is there, somebody's naming ceremony is there, but किसी के घर में पैदा हुआ है, you want to give them gift something. So that also you have to have some cash there. And another thing, when I'm retiring now, or say 55, 60, I'm staying in my ownership house, but maybe that house will give me some expenditure, like a renovation karna padega. Something is going wrong after 5 years or 10 years. So I need to do that kind of thing. So I should have that kind of money also available for myself.
Ma'am, you brought out very valid points about the reasons of keeping this emergency fund. One of the things that struck me personally is the part about health and health insurance that you said. And a lot of us who are at regular careers are normally covered for insurance by our companies or corporates or wherever we're working, or the organization that you're working for. Post-retirement or post this age, premiums are heavy because you've aged. By that time, probably you've added some of the lifestyle diseases or situations. So premiums will also be in that situation. Plus at certain age and beyond, a lot of insurance companies do not give you a lot of insurance companies do not give you insurance. We recently saw a change in the guideline on that also. Your views on that, and that premium that hits you every year, and one feels that, oh, nothing's wrong with me. What are your views on both health insurance and paying that and taking insurance as such, and why is it important, or why would you recommend it? And more importantly, to do with individuals who have crossed a certain age and insurance companies are not giving you insurance or are not willing. Are there any views around that for our learners to learn?
Yes, very much. Insurance is, don't look insurance as that as premium. That premium maybe just now today in the morning, one person called me and he said, my wife is not well, I'm busy with her. I said, hope you have your insurance, proper insurance. Because he had told me that he's got insurance from his company when he joined with me. And now he said, Ki, I have only 4 lakhs rupees insurance and some diseases are covered so much. So it is linked with that. कि कैटरेक्ट है तो 20,000 मिलेगा, हार्ट का है तो 1 लाख मिलेगा. तो आपका इंश्योरेंस का खर्चा कितना भी आने दो, हॉस्पिटल का खर्चा कितना भी आने दो. So I told him, see, because for this reason I had told you to have a insurance, proper insurance. See, insurance is the thing when I don't need, I must take it. When I need, nobody is going to give me. Recently, there was one case of my doctor friend who had a insurance from the hospital. And now what has happened, she got a mild stroke. And she called me saying that I want an insurance. So it struck my mind, something must have gone wrong. And they said, Ki, this is the case and we need a bigger sum insured we want. I immediately said, sorry, you won't get now. Because I was telling you, when you were perfectly fine, you should take an insurance. Why anybody will take your risk when they know that you are a risky person or your health is going to give you a lot of problem? Why will they take your risk? When you don't need, that time you should buy. And like you said, hefty premium. Hefty premium, say now this client who called me today morning, his age is 65 and his premium for the 50 lakhs is say 55,000. I told him, see, when you are getting your company's insurance, you are going to pay from your pocket almost 1 lakh rupees. So why not pay 50,000 rupees premium and take a 50 lakhs rupees ka insurance? And on top of that, I will urge each and everybody who's here, they should review their insurance properly, what they are giving and what they are not giving. Because people, when they take insurance, they feel I have insurance. But what is covered, what is not covered, they never go to that fine print. So when they take, they should ask their advisor what is covered in that, and they should know it properly. Okay, because many times room rent is 1% of your sum insured, and if your health insurance is of say 2 lakhs rupees, so how much 2,000 rupees you are going to get for a per room rent? And then room rent is not just a room rent, all other things like anesthesia, doctor, nursing, operation, everything is going to be in the proportionate of that room charges. So at the end, you'll end up paying more than what you have paid for the premium, or you'll end up paying half of the bill from your packet. And then you blame insurance company, they don't give anything. But mistake is ours. We don't see what we are getting from this insurance. We should see, before using that insurance, you should see what are you going to get when you are going to in case of you had to hospitalize, you must know what are you going to get. So pay the insurance. See, when we have a house, we pay for the lock, the good lock, security wala, usko bhi hum paisa dete hain. So why not pay for the insurance? And I said, take up the best insurance policy, and maybe in your lifetime you don't have to use it. So that if something happens, it is properly there. वो डॉक्टर ने पीपी किट डाला, वो हैंड ग्लोव्स डाले और जो भी कुछ डाले, सबका पैसा मिलेगा आपको. बट टेक अ प्रॉपर वन, नॉट एज पर द रूम रेंट वाला.
Liked what you said is that you've actually given the explanation saying that the premium that one pays, don't look at it as an expense going out, look at it as an investment effectively, which is
Yes,
going to save you against any emergency of health. Because on another topic that on a platform that we've discussed in the past, and you can highlight that once again, is that inflation, which we all kind of are always trying to beat through returns, is normally what we get to see is quoted is anything between 2 to 5% or whatever the five in single digits, whereas health inflation or is actually
double digit.
is in double digits many times.
Yes,
Or it is in double digits. So one needs to ensure that you keep that hedged in some form of investment, and insurance it becomes one form of investment. And good point you said that pay the premium and hope you never have to use it.
Yes.
A related point in that, and it's also, I just noticed somebody's also already asked that question as well, but is what is the age limit? Because as you in your 60s and beyond 65, not many companies give you health insurance. Your thoughts, your view, you deal with your clients, you deal with insurance companies as well, besides planning the investments. What's your view on that?
Nowadays, lot of companies have come forward. They give up to 100. You come at any time, they're giving. Okay. If you have any issues, health issues, they may charge you some loading on that. But I say don't wait till then. Because nowadays we see people at 30s having heart attack. So why you want to wait till that? See, paying the insurance premium is protecting your finances. You rightly said that. You are protecting your finances. And to protect your finances, you have to pay the premiums. Okay. So nowadays, most of the companies are giving after 65, 75, 80, even 90, they're giving. But the premium will be very high. Okay. There will be medical test also. They will have to undergo that. But I am telling everyone not to wait for that till you don't have anything. Go for the insurance. And if you have anything, please disclose it when you are buying the policy. Otherwise, what happens? You go to doctor and you disclose everything there. But when you take a policy, you don't disclose. That is very wrong. So because insurance company also sees what is your bill and what is your application. If application and the bill matches, then you are paid your claim. If application में आपने बोला है मुझे कुछ भी नहीं है and doctor को जाके बोला है I had a high blood pressure for last 5 years, 10 years, diabetes and hypertension. I had some other problem ailments, and if you have mentioned that, and then company can reject it. So don't do that. Do very diligently. You declare whatever is there, and you will get. And at this age also, people should come forward and take the health insurance, because in say 50,000, if you are covered for say 50 lakhs rupees of some insured, why not? And you rightly said ki inflation is double digit in a health industry. So you should have a proper health insurance. Big sum insured you should be there.
No, I think you brought it out clearly, is that to create an emergency corpus or to create keeping a sum aside as an emergency, besides cash, debit card, etc., ensure that you have some other forms of liquidity available at ease. And one of them is to ensure that you are not left high and dry, dipping into savings or investments or breaking into your long-term investments or savings. You should always have some health insurance. You brought that out very clearly. It's as good as an investment. It's as good as protecting your protection of your wealth or your security.
Yes.
I'll move a track. A couple of questions have started coming, so I'll move a track back on the mutual fund part of it for the corpus. How does one view the taxation on mutual fund? I think it's since we are talking about I think this is more related to, you mentioned FDs, etc. So what's your guidance to investors or your clients on the taxation part of it?
Taxation part of it, as for FDs, for in savings bank, for everything there is a TDS cut from the bank only. For the mutual fund, the taxation is 10% of profit. Is 10% of your profits are taxed. So supposing if 1 lakh becomes say 1 lakh and 20,000 after a year, so 1 lakh will be tax free. In a mutual fund, 1 lakh, first 1 lakh profit is tax free. After that, 1 minute. After that, whatever profit is there, 10% of it is taxed whenever you withdraw it. Even in liquid fund, 15% is taxation before 3 years if you withdraw, but that is profit is taxed. So in a liquid fund, if you keep 1 lakh and 1 lakh becomes say 1 lakh 20,000, so the taxation is on a 20,000, 15% taxation will come after 3 years time. Okay, before that it is a short-term capital gain will come. But you don't have to pay penalty in that mutual fund. So as compared to FD, liquid fund will be much better because the interest what you are getting or return what you are getting on that, it will be much more than the what your FD is giving you. So taxation is also less than what in a FD, what you pay as per your taxation, as per your tax bracket. If you are 10%, 20%, 30%, the tax bracket will be applied there as per your tax bracket. Here at your tax bracket can be anything in a mutual fund, but it is flat 10%. On a profit, 1 lakh profit is tax free.
Nice. I think that largely kind of covers the view on taxation. I think each individual will be a unique or a different case depending on their own tax bracket, etc., and depending on whether they're talking about a debt fund or an equity fund or comparing with FD or any other gain for that matter. Another thing, ma'am, I'd like to kind of, what in your experience, we spoke about the health insurance why you spoke about always having some kind of a corpus built up or a corpus ready. And this is more, what do you see as common mistakes that we all tend to make in creating this emergency or keeping this emergency corpus? What are the most common mistakes that all of us tend to make, and we should not make that?
Everybody thinks something bad will happen to somebody else, not to me. Okay. So even that, as I told you, the doctor's experience, I won't need health insurance. I'm so healthy, you know. So don't think of that. Whatever is there, protect yourself. Emergency fund, you should have. Maybe anything. See, while you're walking in the road or on the road, and if you slip and then you tend to sprain your ankle or knee, what will happen? You will have to go to the doctor, pay him the fees, take the medicines. Maybe you will have to hire a physiotherapist. So you should have that emergency fund. So don't think that I will not need an emergency fund. So everybody, see, supposing like a COVID, that time, what has happened? So people were not prepared, but those people were prepared for the emergency funds. They lasted long. Because 6 months, if we tell them to make up 6 months corpus for the emergency, they survived. Even though it went on long COVID time, but still 6 months, they knew that how to handle that, you know. So you should have nobody can say, I will not need emergency fund. Everybody will need in some or the other form. If somebody comes crying to your house and says, I need some 5,000 rupees, where you will give? You will have to give. Your some own friends or own relatives or one sister or brother comes, you have to give. So that is the emergency fund you should have.
So your suggestion is keep about 6 months of uh, expense as
Minimum.
minimum,
Yes.
minimum
Yeah.
6 months.
Yeah.
That actually has already answered a question that somebody just put up. So helpful to know that that's a minimum that one should always keep aside.
Yes. Yes.
I'm going to parallelly start taking questions on the from the chat, ma'am, and people, please keep putting it in. One of the questions which is very specific, and I think it's not in the sense that in your journey, you and we remember the story that you made mistakes in the beginning. You had no clue. You learned, but you kind of kept at it. Went persistent to learn more what not to do or what to do. So, how does one go about choosing a good SIP or an MF? Is a direct question, but I would probably broaden it. How does one choose what asset class or what should we do? Is it based on anything that you advise as a standard thumb rule?
Yes. See, generally, when anybody wants to start a SIP or lump sum or investment, we try and find out for what reason they are doing. So we try and match it with their financial goals. What are their goals? So if it is a say young, say in late 30s, people are coming, okay, and they want to do. So whether they are married, not married, then having children, so having a senior citizens at home, or they want to build a corpus for their retirement, or they want to build a corpus for some higher education of their children and marriage of their children. So accordingly, we categorize. Strategies are made as per their financial goals. So without financial goals, we will not advise them, because supposing if we give them a small cap fund and their time horizon is not 5 years plus or 10 years plus, they want it next year. So it is my mistake to give them a small cap fund or aggressive fund. So we have to first find out their risk appetite, their financial goals, and then only assess. After assessing uh, their risk
Yes.
appetite, then only we should give them a SIP. Then it depends on whether we are giving a hybrid fund or large cap fund or multi cap fund or mid cap fund or whatever. So that will be linked with their financial goals. Without financial goals, we can't do anything.
Good point you
That
made.
will be
I
mismatch.
think, yeah, good point you made. And just to highlight for our learners and our members is that any financial advice, please take it from a professional advisor or from anybody that you trust who's experienced enough, and therefore be able to guide you both on what risk appetite and the goals, which Sunita ma'am just kind of highlighted. Those are equally important. Why you're doing what you're doing, so that the an advisor is best. If we can always go and consult doctors and lawyers for our own, why not a financial planner for that matter? With a successful career so far, and keep going strong, ma'am. Having advised almost close to 500 clients and growing as well while you're doing it. Believe your second generation is also taking on the same business, which you have shown the way that just break from the norm and go and learn and do things. What at this point I'll do is once again ask members if there are more questions, keep dropping it in. Till that comes, another thought that has come to my mind, ma'am, is that one always kind of we brought in health insurance as a part. One always also hears about the part about insurance is just taken in insurance. A lot of us hesitate in just going for regular health checkups. Again, that's an expense. We all realize that. How do you tell your clients? What do you tell your clients around when you're talking about keeping emergency insurance? Where does the checkup part of it come in the whole scheme of things?
See, all the health insurance companies, at least the private health sector companies, give you free health checkup once in a year. Once you renew or once you take up the policy, they give you health insurance medical checkup. So I see to it that everybody goes and take up that free checkup, health checkup, because thoroughly they do that. So a lot of things are covered in that, and whatever specific, if they want, they can take from their own money. But they should do it, because one thing is to avoid emergency landing up in the hospital. One of my client just went, I was after them, because my office people will be after them before their renewal and after their renewal, go for the health checkup. Okay. One person went for the whole health checkup, and doctor told him your ECG is very bad. And he's calling me and telling me, Madam, I went for the health checkup and they're saying me, my ECG is very bad. I said, it must be bad then. Why you are saying it is not bad? No, I'm perfectly fine. Then I said, he said, should I go other place and do it? I said, very well, go and do it. He did second time, and again that he was told that ECG is very bad, and he had to land up in the hospital next day, in next 2 days, for the bypass. So that gave him the hint, this is what is happening to your heart, and be ready. And but he had a good health insurance. He went to the good hospital. He got it done very well. Also, there I advised him where which room he should choose and which not to choose, and that is how he did very well. So, see that health checkup is very, very important. If you don't have health insurance, you don't intend to go and spend that money on yourself, and then someday you land up
Have you
having.
frozen only for me, or
No,
you're
I'm
you're back? You're back. We can hear you.
okay.
Yeah.
So I make it a point. See, if you don't have health insurance, it's difficult that you go on your own and do the health checkup. It doesn't happen. Something goes wrong, you go to your family doctor, and then doctor says go and do this. Then only you do that. But health insurance, if you have, you can do it properly. Every year you should do that health checkup. That is very important.
Very, very nicely brought out with the doctor's example and with the friend's example that you've done so far is that one doesn't know what's going on inside the body. So insurance is one part of it, but regular checking, if we
Very
can
important.
if we can do checkups of our washing machine, microwave, refrigerator
Yes,
regularly, why
yes,
don't we do of
yes.
our own machine or
Right.
gifted machine that we've been given,
This
which
is
is
taken
one.
for granted. We take it for
Yes, we
ourselves
take.
for granted. That
Correct.
shouldn't happen.
Just highlighting two questions which have come forward. One of them, ma'am, I don't think we'll be addressing any specific query about any specific product or fund. Get Set Up is a learning platform, so any specific advice that you're asking for about a specific scheme and a fund is please take from your financial advisor. But the next question I think is an interesting one about at this stage of life we don't have our income is kind of more or less a salaried income or regular income is kind of paused, and it's largely only the corpus which needs to start generating returns or any other smaller assignments that we take as separate careers post career. So how much based on that, since fresh income is not happening, how much portion of the portfolio should we allocate to emergency fund? Is that you mentioned 6 months of expense? Is that minimum 6 months of expense? Is that a fair one to work for rather than look at how much portion of a total portfolio?
See, 6 months is good, but total portfolio's 10% also can be kept if it is a big amount. Okay. Another thing, some portion, see, after keeping the 6 months life expenses, you can keep certain portion of your investment in a balance fund or balance advantage fund, so that they can be break without any exit load, and also they can generate more than your double than your FD. So that can be also allocated as a emergency funds besides your that 6 months corpus that can be taken.
Got it. Uh, an interesting question. Can we claim expensive health checkups done from the insurance company? I think you already addressed that. A lot of
That is a free health checkup you get.
yes, you mentioned that.
Yeah.
I think so. That is already built in. One more thought. That's I think I'm just checking if I missed any questions. Jan Basu has commented actually that health checkup report has to be submitted.
Need not be submitted to the company. You need not submit your reports to the company.
Okay, it need not be submitted.
Need not be. That is for you and your thing. If something,
Okay.
it is for you.
Okay, I think we've taken up most of the questions on the chat. Anything offline that has come is we've kind of taken care of. I have actually only one thought related to checkups and insurance specifically. You mentioned about the part that disclose everything to the insurance company so that you are not surprised. Read the fine print. What about do they, and a lot of us are always concerned, especially lifestyle diseases in our country. We know we are called the diabetic center of the world or diabetic capital of the world. Disclosing it, does it have an impact in the premium? And if so, should we even disclose it? And is there some kind of a period within which, if anything happens related to an existing situation, that we may not be able to claim? Any broad guidelines or highlights that you've seen around?
Diabetes, blood pressure is everybody. As you rightly said, it's a hub. But why not declare it? It is better to declare it. It is a diabetes is there. So maybe some companies will take you with the diabetes, blood pressure, no problem. They will not increase your premium in that case. But if your diabetes is there and if you're on an insulin, then there is a question. Then they might give you some pre-existing disease, and that is 2 years waiting period, 3 years waiting period, 4 years waiting period to get a claim because of the diabetes. So there will be that condition will be there. Otherwise, by just declaring, you are keeping your front open. Now the ball is in the your company's court, whether they are offering you the insurance or not offering you the insurance, offering with insurance with the some loading or some terms and conditions, but still you will get the insurance. That is not the problem. But you don't hide it and go ahead with the insurance. That will be bad stage.
Right. Okay. So it's more about like ensuring that you don't get surprised in the event of a claim getting rejected.
Yes,
So you
yes,
disclose everything,
correct.
even if the premium there may be a chance
Maybe,
of going
yeah,
up. Maybe
yes,
a lot of companies take an overall holistic view on a lot of other situations
yes.
also.
Mm.
So some of that. A question around that: does one have to take admission for a free health checkup? Anything that you're aware of, ma'am? Do we have to get admitted to take a health checkup? I've
No,
never
no, no, no,
experienced it.
no,
Yeah.
no, no. It's a daycare kind of thing. You just walk into the diagnostic center and you do the before that you had to pre-book your slot with the company. Company will you have to call the company, pre-book your slot in your nearing area, and then you walk in. They will take your blood, urine, or whatever X-ray and whatever that sonography or whatever is tests are allowed. They will take it and they will do. You need not. You don't have to get admitted to the hospital. Not at all.
It's experience. My experience of a few health checkups in the past, they were all corporate ones, but still, it's a day job. You go in the morning and it takes till afternoon. You have to go and
Yes, yes.
gets done.
Correct, correct.
No, it's still worth it to be done once a year at least. For is a good recommendation. A lot of people give, and as you said, health insurance companies anyway, it's an annual thing, so it needs to take care of annually anyway, so it automatically gets covered. Manjuji's asked a question: if get diabetes or hypertension after years of insurance. So the question I think is that if you get diabetes
Post
while
your
you're already
hospital.
insured,
Yeah,
post insurance, is there
no
anything
problem.
that
No problem. No problem at all. You are covered.
uh,
You are covered. Maybe the insurance company at the time of claim might ask you the first consultation paper. So supposing if you are taken in 20s and then in 2021 you got a diabetes or hypertension, you generally we preserve the file. the consultation paper. So you can give the first consultation paper to the company just to clarify my disease or my diabetes was after my policy. So that is acceptable, not a problem.
Got it. We have only 2 more minutes to wrap up, and we like to always be punctual with our sessions, respecting our learners and members' time as well. So if there are any still unanswered question, please do email or get in touch with the customer service, and we'll get those answered. As everybody who's experienced GetSetUp, please download our app, and there's lots of such engaging content across financial well-being, health well-being, and many other interesting topics of learnings. So create a community over there. It's a peer-to-peer platform. So and as our ambassador Sunita ji herself is embodying values. So very happy to have our own members come back and talk to us and teach our own members and learners. So with that, thank you, everyone. We'll probably just hold off till the exact time, which is another few seconds. And if there are unanswered questions, I can see somebody's hand raised. Is that no? I think that's okay. So Sunita ji, very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're thinking something. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, I think there was one question that New India company or some other company doesn't give a medical free medical checkup. Yes, that's why I said that many now private companies they give. The PSU companies they give once in a 4 years or something like that. So port your policies, come to the these private companies. They do the very good, and you don't have to pay anything from your pocket. All the expenses are covered. Non-medical things are also covered there. So do the porting. You get the claim very well. You will have no problem to get the claims and everything.
Good point, ma'am. Porting of the policy to the most efficient one.
Yeah. And you should, whenever you take policy, go to ask your person who's giving you the policy. Ask very small questions to them. What are you going to get when you are getting admitted? So that time there should not be any worry whether I'll be getting my insurance or not or claim. ये वो कुछ होना नहीं चाहिए. वो पहले से सब मालूम होता है तो it's very good.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for a lovely informative session. And sorry, I just heard somebody asking a question last.
About a Franklin Templeton Academy at Central.
Oh yeah, I think for the chat, anybody and everyone who is interested in more such content, besides GetSetUp, the similar content is available on Franklin Templeton Academy as well. So that link is also on the chat. Please go and explore it, learn from it, and keep enjoying GetSetUp community with all of us. So thank you once again, everyone who came on.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sunita ji. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.